Yellowstone National Park, the first national park in the United States of America. The park is just over 2.2 million acres, and what lies inside is like no other. Home to over 50% of all the geysers in the entire world, 500 of which are active. There are more than 10,000 hydrothermal features, 67 different species, making it home to the largest concentration of mammals in the lower 48. Yellowstone Lake is the highest elevation lake in North America, and it actually has a great amount of history, which I highly recommend learning at the visitor center. There are 285 different birds, 1,800 archaeological sites, 290 waterfalls, and just under 1,000 miles of hiking trails. And of course, the main big animals, grizzlies, wolves, and the bison. Welcome back, guys. Today's video is on Yellowstone. This video is perfect for the traveler who needs a 3-day itinerary. You have no plans, no reservations, you're camping outside the park. You have no idea where to go, what to do, where to see the animals, because that was me. And as I was actively driving to Yellowstone, spur of the moment decision, I messaged my friend Kyle, who is a wildlife photographer and private guide within the park, and he gave me the perfect 3-day itinerary, and I am here to share that with you today. So as we can see here, there is a map of Yellowstone. This is just the map taken right off of the website because I lost mine, but I have all of the notes up here still. So I'm going to apologize in advance. If you don't like maps, this might not be the most interesting video for you, but the maps are your friend. I promise you, they will build the foundation to make your trip so much easier, stress-free. So if we are looking at the map here, you can see there's a figure 8. There's North Loop, South Loop, and then to the east of the North Loop, there's a long road, that's Lamar Valley. So basically the plan is day 1, South Loop, day 2, North Loop, day 3, Lamar Valley. That's gonna be your basic outline. So let's just go through where to go, where to see the animals, where to camp. Okay, so we are only going to focus on 2 entrances. That is the west entrance to Idaho Falls and the northeast entrance to Silver Gate. Both of those entrances have camping less than a mile from the entrance, wild camping, free, Forest Service roads, and the turnout. Super easy, no problems. Everybody that is wild camping in those areas, they're all doing the same exact thing you are doing. So before we jump into entering the park for day 1, I just want to provide 2 things. Number 1, pack your own lunch and snacks. There are places to eat inside of the park, but they're very expensive and the food is really not that great. And number 2, just get up really early. You want to avoid the 1 mile long entrance into the park. So when I say get up early, 5 a.m., 4:30. I'm not kidding. All right, let's get started. Day 1, you are going to enter from the west entrance. You are going to get a map right when you enter and start taking notes. Always ask questions. Ask them questions. Has there been an animal killed lately? That's going to be your first question on day 1, because wherever an animal has been killed, there's going to be wolves. Okay, so day 1, enter from the west entrance, drive to the Madison Junction. Your entire morning all the way to lunch is going to be from Madison Junction all the way down to Old Faithful. That entire area, there are so many stops. My favorite is Lower Geyer Basin. Biscuit Basin was one of my favorites. And then, of course, Grand Prismatic. You can for sure park with the hundreds of other people, go walk about Grand Prismatic, and then I highly recommend going around the corner. There is a small parking lot on the right-hand side, and you can take a short hike. It's maybe less than 1 mile, and then you get that You get that above view of Grand Prismatic that is, it's just really stunning. I highly, highly recommend. The hike is super easy. It's a walk. It's a nature walk. It's not even a hike. And then you can go down to Old Faithful. Before you do anything, I would go to the Tribal Heritage Visitor Center. That was one of the highlights for me. I got an absolutely stunning book from there, Project 562. More on that later. Anyways, I would go to the Old Faithful Visitor Center, check the times, because Old Faithful goes off about every 90 minutes. So you can grab your lunch or get a lunch, go sit around Old Faithful, wait for it to erupt. And little side note, depending on the night sky and the moon, this is an excellent spot to come to at night and watch Old Faithful erupt with the Milky Way. Here are some photos I took of that. And then back to day one. Sorry for that little side note. Anyways, then you will keep going. I will go over to Grant Village. I would go to the visitor center, grab some ice cream. There is another little center there where you can go inside and learn some more things. And then I'll go up to Yellowstone Lake, admire the water. It's super beautiful. You can stop at so many places along the way if you want another snack, stay hydrated. And then from there, you're going to keep going north. And from that point is going to be Hayden Valley. You can see a lot of different animals. For sure, bison. There is a pack of wolves in that area, so you might get lucky and see wolves, but keep your eyes open for anything and everything. Remember, there are so many different mammals in this park. You don't need to rush through driving. Also, just don't stop for one single bison. Okay, so then the plan is to be at Artist or Inspiration Point by sunset. Pick one, enjoy the show. And then you will drive all the way back out through the west entrance, camp again in your same spot or different spot, because chances are somebody might have taken your spot. And then you're gonna get a nice dinner, go to sleep, wake up early again. Day 2, enter through the west entrance, except today you are gonna go to the Madison Junction and take a left. You are going to complete the north loop. You can either complete this clockwise or counterclockwise. I recommend going clockwise. On this part of the map, you can see from the Madison Junction to the Norris Junction, there are so many springs and geysers. You can spend the whole entire morning exploring this area. Then I would go all the way up to Mammoth Hot Springs, stopping along the way to take in the creek, the waterfalls, anything that catches your eye that you might be interested in. If you are traveling with pets or a dog, I brought my dog into the park. The area where the visitor center is in Mammoth Hot Springs and Indian Creek, they have pretty big areas where you can let your dog run about. Dogs are really only allowed where there is pavement, and yeah, these two areas are the only place in the entire park where I found dogs were actually allowed to be on the grass a little bit free. So grab some lunch or bring out your lunch there, eat it there. Elk are always around this area, rooting around, doing fun things. Then you are going to drive from Mammoth Hot Springs over to Tower Roosevelt. Honestly, not a lot going on in that area, so you are left with a decision. At the end of day 2, you can either meander through Lamar Valley and maybe catch wolves moving about closer to sunset, or you can head back down to Artist or Inspiration Point and do the opposite. It's up to you. Either way, at the end of day 2, you are going to exit the park to the northeast entrance. You can camp literally like 300 feet from the entrance, or you can go all the way into Silvergate. You can find a couple places, or you can go even further to Cook City. I personally camped 300 feet from the entrance because I was getting up at 4 a.m. to get into the park for the wolves. I highly recommend doing the same thing. You are not going to be alone. Every single night that I was camping there, there were a minimum of 6 of us there, because everybody is there with a camera or oh my god, I can't think of the word, like a scope. Anyways, you are going to have some dinner, sleep well, and then on day 3 you are going to get up early, 4:30 a.m., and you are going to enter the park from the northeast entrance. There is not going to be any park attendant at the gate checking your pass, but you just drive right in. This is not a problem. It's totally normal. And then you're just going to spend your entire morning from 5 a.m. to 10, 11 a.m. just cruising Lamar Valley. I cannot recommend the absolute best spot to see the wolves, because there just isn't. They move. They are moving all over the place. If like a bison was killed or an animal was killed in some area, that's where they're going to be. They're going to be eating. They're going to be feasting. So I will say, from Pebble Creek to Slough Creek, that is typically where you will see them the most, and they're not going to be very close. You will need some type of scope or binoculars to see them. One little tip I will say: ask people questions. Don't be bothersome asking, but don't be shy. If you see the trucks or the vans, the wolf trackers, pull over, safely park, and then just, hey, good morning, how's it going? And just say, like, so what are we looking at here? They are the wolf trackers. They have GPS on some of the wolves. Chances are, if the wolf tracker vehicles are there, there's going to be wolves, okay? So that is my suggestion for that. And then on day 3, you can do whatever you want into the afternoon, into the evening, all of the things that you kind of didn't really have time to do on day 1 or 2. I would say a good idea would be to go back down to that south loop near Artist and Inspiration Point, check out Upper Lower Falls, head down to Yellowstone Lake, go to Grant Village, get an ice cream, maybe spend some more time in the visitor centers so you can get your sticker, your patch, your books, maybe the Heritage Center. Definitely, if you see any free programs throughout the park during the day, try and catch one of those. I know it might sound a little boring, but they are so full of information. This park is absolutely insane. For me, the coolest part is just learning all the crazy facts. So that's it. That is my perfect 3-day itinerary for the traveler who has no plans, no reservations, no idea where to go, what to do. Okay, thank you, and I hope you enjoy your time at Yellowstone. Check you later. 562. That is how many Native American tribes are in the United States of America, and it is written by Matika Wilbur. This book, this is not just a book, it is a work of art. It is past history in the making. It took her 10 years traveling around to create this book. Look at this book. It is really thick. I don't know how else to show you the thickness of the book. It probably weighs 5 pounds, 2.5 kilos, give or take. This is the best book I've ever read in my life. I probably read 25 to 30 books per year. Read half are Audible, half are books that I read. I have a rule when going to national parks. It is 1 book per park, and this is the book that broke that rule. We will peek at the inside. I don't even know how to properly describe this book and give it the justice that it so deserves. This is the introduction. This is the author. This is the introduction. Just this one page. I was left speechless, and every single page that follows that, every single story that is historical or current it's just simply, I don't think there's a word to encompass everything that it is. It is incredible. It is mind-blowing. It is educational, informative. It's emotional. It is every adjective you can imagine. It's inspiring. It's sad. It's tragic. The history. I learned more from this book than any class I've ever taken in my life, whether that be regular, primary, elementary, middle, high school, college. If there is one book you ever buy in your whole life and read in the United States, highly recommend purchasing. I'll put a link in the description. You can buy it on Amazon. Okay. That's all.